Imagine vanishing into thin air, leaving the world in a state of bafflement. This is the unsolved mystery of Amelia Earhart. She was no ordinary woman. A pioneer in aviation, Earhart was a beacon of courage and determination, defying the norms of her time to take to the skies. She was more than an aviator. She was a symbol of empowerment, advocating for women's rights when it was far from the norm. But Earhart wasn't content with just breaking barriers on the ground. She dreamed of pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in the air. Her most daring ambition? To circumnavigate the globe, something no other woman had accomplished before. Earhart was a woman of dreams, of firsts, and of courage. Her ambitions were high, her courage was unwavering, but destiny had other plans. Embarking on what would be her final flight, Amelia Earhart was oblivious to the impending doom. The journey was meant to be a record-breaking feat, a flight around the globe following the equator as closely as possible. The path was meticulously planned, spanning 29,000 miles with multiple stops across the continents for refueling and maintenance. Amelia and her navigator, Fred Noonan, took off from Miami on June 1, 1937, aboard a Lockheed Electra 10E. This was no ordinary aircraft, it was a specialized machine, customized for long-distance travel. It had the latest navigational equipment of its time, including a state-of-the-art celestial navigation system. Yet, despite all the planning and precautions, the fate of the journey was sealed. Amelia and Fred were flying over the vast Pacific, headed for a small island named Howland Island. It's here where the flight took a turn for the worst. Clouds rolled in, and visibility dropped. The Electra's radio signals started to falter. In their last known communication, Earhart reported their position and said they were running on line north and south, but the transmission was weak and filled with static. The pair were in the vicinity of the island, but they couldn't see it. They were lost in the unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Despite the deteriorating conditions, Earhart's voice remained composed. She was a seasoned pilot after all, having flown across the Atlantic solo and setting numerous other records. But the situation was dire. The Electra was running low on fuel, and the island was nowhere in sight. Frantic efforts were made by the Coast Guard to guide them, but the radio transmissions became increasingly sporadic, and then they stopped altogether. The silence was deafening. The world waited with bated breath, hoping against hope for a miracle. But Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan had vanished into the vastness of the Pacific. Her last words, transmitted over the airwaves, were chilling yet unassuming. The world was left to wonder, to speculate, to theorize. But the truth of what happened on that fateful journey remains a mystery to this day. And then silence. Amelia Earhart and her plane disappeared, swallowed by the vast Pacific Ocean. In the immediate aftermath of Amelia's disappearance, the world held its breath, hoping for some sign, some indication of her whereabouts. The United States, already on edge with the looming threat of World War II, was plunged into a state of collective shock and disbelief. Amelia Earhart, a symbol of courage and resilience, was gone. Almost immediately, the largest and most expensive search operation in naval history was launched. For 2 weeks, the United States Navy and Coast Guard scoured a vast swath of the Pacific Ocean, covering an area of about 250,000 square miles. Ships and planes crisscrossed the open water, their crews' eyes straining for any sign of wreckage or life. Imagine their task, if you will. Picture the vast expanse of the Pacific, its depths a world of mystery and danger. Now imagine trying to find a single small aircraft in this immense and unforgiving wilderness. It was like searching for a needle in a haystack, but the haystack was the size of a continent, and the needle was an aircraft lost to the waves. On the home front, the public waited with bated breath for news. Radio broadcasts and newspaper headlines documented every development, every lead, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. The nation was united in hope and fear, praying for a miracle that deep down they knew was unlikely to come. Finally, after 16 long and agonizing days, the search was called off. The official conclusion was heartbreaking. Amelia Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan were declared lost at sea. Their plane, the Electra, was presumed to have run out of fuel and crashed into the unforgiving waters of the Pacific. The world mourned, but the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance had only just begun. Theories began to circulate, each one more sensational and outlandish than the last. Yet despite the speculation and conjecture, one fact remained. Despite the best efforts, the sea refused to divulge its secret. In the absence of solid evidence, theories began to sprout like wildflowers. As we delve into this thicket of conjectures and suppositions, let's remember that the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance is yet unsolved, and these are but possibilities attempting to fill in the blanks. The first theory, often labeled as the crash and sink theory, is perhaps the simplest, yet the most harrowing. It suggests that Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, unable to locate their next stop in the Pacific, ran out of fuel and crashed into the unforgiving ocean. The Pacific, with its vast expanse and tremendous depths, could have swallowed the plane in its belly, leaving no trace behind. This theory, while grim, is backed by the radio distress signals that were allegedly picked up after her last known transmission. Next, we have the survival theory, which paints a picture of endurance and resilience. According to this theory, Earhart and Noonan, having failed to reach Howland Island, their intended destination, might have landed on an uninhabited island. They could have survived for weeks, even months, living off the land and hoping for rescue. Proponents of this theory point to a series of artifacts discovered on Nikumaroro Island, including improvised tools and remnants of fires, as potential evidence of their survival attempt. The third theory takes us into the realm of international intrigue and espionage. It posits that Earhart and Noonan were captured by the Japanese forces, who mistook them for American spies. The tension between America and Japan was escalating during the late 30s, and the Pacific was a hotbed of military activity. Some believe that Earhart and Noonan were held captive on the island of Saipan, and their plane was seized. This theory, despite its dramatic flair, lacks concrete evidence and remains a controversial topic among historians. Lastly, there's a less popular theory, which suggests that Earhart and Noonan returned to the United States under assumed identities and lived out the rest of their days in obscurity. This theory, while fascinating, is largely dismissed due to the lack of credible evidence supporting it. Each theory, captivating in its own right, only adds to the intrigue surrounding her disappearance. They range from the plausible to the fantastical, painting a myriad of potential endings to her story. Yet the truth remains elusive, and the enigma of Amelia Earhart's fate continues to captivate us, 86 years on. As we continue to seek answers, perhaps it's not the conclusion, but the enduring spirit of adventure and courage that truly defines Amelia Earhart's legacy. Each theory, captivating in its own right, only adds to the intrigue surrounding her disappearance. Amelia Earhart may have disappeared, but her legacy is far from lost. In the world of aviation, Earhart's impact is as palpable today as it was in the early 20th century. She was a trailblazer, a boundary pusher. She dared to fly where few had flown before, and in doing so, she expanded our understanding of what was possible. She showed us that the sky was not a limit, but a challenge to be overcome. And overcome it, she did. In her Lockheed Model 10E Electra, she carved a path across the sky, a path that countless aviators have followed in the decades since. Her courage, her determination, her unwavering belief in the power of flight, these are the things that continue to inspire pilots today. But Earhart's legacy extends far beyond the world of aviation. As a woman in a field dominated by men, she was a beacon of hope, a symbol of what women could achieve. She shattered glass ceilings, proving that gender was no barrier to success. Her accomplishments in the air sent a powerful message to women on the ground. They too could reach for the stars. And then there's the mystery, the enigma of her disappearance. It's a story that has captivated the world for nearly a century. The theories abound, each one more intriguing than the last. And as we continue to search for answers, our fascination with Earhart only grows. Her story is a testament to the allure of the unknown, to the human desire to explore and to understand. So, while Amelia Earhart may have vanished, her spirit remains very much alive. It's there in every pilot who takes to the skies, in every woman who defies the odds, in every mystery that begs to be solved. As we pursue the truth, the spirit of Amelia Earhart continues to soar, reminding us of the indomitable human spirit,